Hello, my friends. Well, I was going to do a video on nuclear powered submarines and carriers. They were so amazing, like big cities. And, well, about halfway through it, I was just so pissed off, and I'm really sorry. I rarely do get riled up, okay? I'm fairly a calm person. Uh, I'm fairly dangerous at times. But I'm telling you, I went into this completely unbiased or anything, trying to. I mean, I had a really cool video that wasn't going to be like doom and gloom. It was just showing you something really cool. Until I found out that there is not nuclear powered nothing. Okay. Now I'll tell you. I'll just shut up and let me just get to the point. Currently, our top scientists are trying to make nuclear batteries. Okay. Now they claim that they have some and that they need, they're making nuclear diamond batteries. They have a piece of decaying radiated material, right, made into an electric current, right, portable. Now at this time, scientists can achieve a whopping 1 volt. Yes, I said that right. 1 volt. It confused me and most of the power cells I researched of so called nuclear or atomic power were just theory or prototype phases, nothing amazing. I'm sure NASA has one that runs off of, unicorn piss or something. I don't know, right? But in school, do y'all remember getting a few volts from like potatoes and lemon juice? Like I got more than 1 volt from potatoes. I don't know. I'm just saying. And so I was kind of confused. But I don't know about you, but I pictured a nuclear powered submarine or carrier like the actual reactor, right? Running off of a green or blue glowing rock. I think I made a video once before, like in a chamber with wires coming off of it, putting off tremendous electric current, right? I don't know. I don't know. Did you guys? I guess I think of movies or something. Maybe. I have no idea. But they have always portrayed nuclear power in a different way than the way it actually works. It's not like they hide it. I mean, it's what I'm going to tell you is not hidden. I mean, it's truth in plain sight. I mean, it's right there. But I think that when it gets explained on TV or History or Discovery Channel, when we were kids, they didn't explain it in such a way as you to understand what it really is doing. So, bear with me, okay? To my amazement, what I thought was very high tech atomic energy sounds cool, doesn't it? It was as low tech as boiling water, literally. You see, in a reactor that we get power for our homes for, also what was in the submarines and carriers I was looking at, they use what they call nuclear fission. And they take uranium pellets and they stack them together into sealed zirconium metal tubes called fuel rods. Now, these fuel rods are stacked together, and what they'll do, they'll encase it in graphite. It makes the chain reaction, stronger. And it reacts with control rods. And the control rods are made of boron, I guess, positive, negative, right? Anyway, here's a fun fact for you. The metal tubing that contains nuclear fuel is no thicker than a credit card. They can crack and rupture, releasing deadly nuclear material. That's nice. In certain poor conditions, yes, they can explode from a nuclear chain reaction. On May 24th of 2011, the Institute for Policy Studies and Support from the Project on Government Oversight informed Washington, D.C. of the high risks of radioactive contamination or even nuclear chain reaction explosions due to the unsafe storage of spent nuclear fuel rods in the United States. There was an interactive map, and I tried to click on it. Page not found now. Of course it isn't. Now, there were other places I could find this map at, but since it was not directly from Library of Congress, I didn't want to get one that was, you know, not true. But it says the map was created to show where the fuel was stored and the areas of concern. There were sites in New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Dallas, Atlanta, and it ends in other nuclear sites for storage around the entire United States. They are unprotected and crowded. The spent fuel pools pose an unacceptable threat to the public, said Robert Alvarez. Now, he was the senior scholar for the nuclear policy at the Institute for Policy Studies, but he was also part of the um, Congress's oversight. Now, this report is said to have provided data for the first time on the amount of radioactivity in spent nuclear fuel at all individual reactor sites in the United States. Several sites were reported to be storing far more waste in vulnerable pools than the U.S. nuclear weapons program produced in the entirety of 50 years. Wow. The report also told of several incidents. I don't even think I've ever heard of any of this. And contaminations at these storage sites containing enormous amounts of radioactive material. There are more than 30 million highly radioactive spent nuclear fuel rods submerged in vulnerable storage pools all over the United States. The pools at 51 sites contain some of the largest concentrations of radioactivity anywhere on the planet. In New York, they reported if a spent fuel fire were to happen at one of the two Indian Point nuclear reactors that were 25 miles from New York, it would result in 5,600 cancerous deaths, innumerable fatalities, and $461 billion in damages. In New York's stockpile, the spent fuel is 3 times more radioactive than the combined total of all 4 Fukushima reactors. Now, when they did this report, it was right after they had the earthquake and what have you in Japan, and they used Fukushima as their example. Now, it says in Los Angeles at Diablo Canyon, nuclear reactors have nearly 2.7 times more radioactive waste than 4 reactors at Fukushima. Dallas, Texas, Comanche Peak, 60 miles southwest of Dallas, has spent fuel that contains more than 2.3 times more radioactivity than all 4 compromised reactors at Fukushima. Atlanta, the Vogtle nuclear reactors near Augusta, 147 miles northeast of Atlanta, have generated 2.5 times more than the Fukushima reactors. Spent fuel rods, right? Spent nuclear fuel rods are so deadly. Now get this, this is what they say. This is from the report. A motorcyclist speeding past them at 60 miles an hour a couple of feet away would be killed from the effects of the radiation, even while they were fleeing away. So just merely for just a split second. Whew. All these fuel rods are stored in pools that require electricity to circulate the water to keep them cool 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That seems safe, right? But here's my deal. What happens to the water after it circulates through? And where do you get this tremendous amount of water, and where's it going? Oh my God. It says these sites were concerning because of the risk of sabotage, massive land contamination, tremendous loss of life, radiation injuries, and myriads of deaths would result. More likely was the result would be from an earthquake or prolonged electricity blackout, like what happened at Fukushima. There was no power to pump the water to keep it cool. Everything else that happened there was no big deal. The problem was the water pumps turned off. That's it. These pools have to have electricity to pump cool water into them continuously. Here's another fun fact. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission does not require nuclear reactor operations to have redundant or backup power supplies or systems for these spent fuel rod pools so that they will prevent disaster. That's right. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission does not require them to have a backup. Remember, our power grid's not bulletproof. It goes out all the time. And this was all reported by Mr. Alvarez. Now, he was, by the way, the Deputy Assistant Secretary for the National Security and Environment from 1993 to 1999, and he worked for the Department of Energy. He was also the senior investigator for the U.S. Senate Committee on the Governmental Affairs of this. Y'all, this is crazy. It's dangerous. Playing with, poisons that can kill everything on Earth. That's absolute idiocy to me. So when I found all this, right, because, we get told how we need to act, and we are ones destroying this earth, and we're the ones that, the EPA, all these clowns up here with this, the whole, greenhouse and the World, Economic Forum, all these bastards up there, the things that they're talking about for us to have to do, right? So I said, okay. I'm going to buy into it. I want to see just how good these power plants are, and is it worth the risk for the enormous amounts of power that we get from these reactors? Well, the same reactors, that I spoke of with these fuel rods, uh, it's the same exact power plants you see when you're driving by them, the same exact power plant in the submarines and carriers. It seemed a little much to me, but it says they're just smaller versions of the bigger ones, right? So it's very, very, very plain. They tell you right, straight up. Well, then I saw how the power plant produced work. That's when I was floored. I was speechless. I had no idea. Either because I'm ignorant, I don't know. But others I spoke with, they thought the same thing. We were sort of misled about the way a power plant works, how it produced power. I don't know. I just kind of feel like we were lied to. Maybe we weren't lied to so much as we were kind of totally misled on how simple, stupid everything was. So this reactor heats up water. It makes steam. The steam, under pressure, turns a turbine or impeller that then turns a shaft hooked to an electric generator. The electric generator that the steam turns produces electricity to operate electric motors and provide electricity to the entire ship, submarine, or city. Did you get that? The electric generator that this death turns, that the nuclear death material heats the water up and turns, the electricity is from a freaking generator. You take this generator, me and you can put a wheel on it and turn it, and we can produce electricity because the nuclear power is not doing nothing. Ooh. The electricity is from a generator, not a nuclear fuel rod. It's an 1800 steam-powered machine, y'all. The only difference is coal or some other, non-dangerous fuel isn't heating the water, right? It's just megadeth rods of poison that's doing it. This is totally ridiculous. It is to me anyway, right? And so I'm here to tell you there is nuclear-powered absolutely not shit on this planet. It's steam turning a generator, generating electricity. My God, help us all. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I just can't take it anymore. Oh, shit. I'm Wild Dog. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. I'm out of here.